Valerian, the 42nd emperor of the Roman Empire, ruled from 253 to 260 AD during one of the most tumultuous periods of Roman history. His reign was marked by political instability, military defeats, and the eventual collapse of his authority, leading to his capture by the Persians. Despite his brief and troubled reign, Valerian's story is significant in the larger narrative of the Roman Empire's struggles during the 3rd century, an era characterized by internal strife, external invasions, and a weakened imperial structure. Valerian was born around 195 AD into a prominent and wealthy family. His early career appears to have been relatively uneventful, but he gradually rose through the ranks of the Roman military and political systems. By the 200s and 30s, Valerian had become a trusted figure in the imperial administration under the reign of Emperor Alexander Severus. Valerian's rise was likely aided by his military experience and his connections to powerful figures in Roman society. By 238 AD, during the time of the crisis of the 3rd century, Valerian held the title of consul multiple times, signaling his increasing importance within the Roman elite. In 253 AD, following the assassination of Emperor Trebonianus Gallus and his son Valerian, Valerian was proclaimed emperor by his troops, likely due to his status as a capable and experienced leader. His ascent to the throne was not uncontested, as the empire was experiencing a period of significant internal divisions and military revolts. However, Valerian was able to consolidate power relatively quickly, largely due to the support of the Roman army, which was the key to controlling the empire during this era. Valerian's reign began with immediate challenges. The Roman Empire was plagued by external threats, most notably from the Germanic tribes along the Rhine and Danube frontiers, as well as from the Sassanid Empire to the east. Internally, Rome faced economic difficulties, corruption, and instability within the Senate. In 254 AD, Valerian was forced to deal with the invasion of the Germanic Goths, who had attacked the Balkans and Illyricum. The emperor's response was to organize military campaigns to drive back the invaders. These campaigns were not entirely successful, as the empire struggled to maintain control of its vast borders. The year 257 AD saw further military challenges, with the empire suffering from raids by the Sassanid Persians. Valerian's position was also complicated by the fact that he had to manage the ambitions of rival military commanders. In 258 AD, the Roman Empire's eastern provinces, especially the province of Syria, were increasingly threatened by the Persian king Shapur I. This threat was compounded by the internal divisions of the Roman Empire, as regions like Gaul and the eastern provinces sought greater autonomy, leading to the rise of breakaway states like the Gallic Empire and the Palmyrene Empire. Despite his efforts to defend the empire's borders, Valerian's reign was marked by significant military setbacks. In 260 AD, he made a decisive but ultimately disastrous move by personally leading a campaign against the Persians, who were advancing through the Roman East. In the Battle of Edessa, Valerian's forces were decisively defeated, and the emperor was captured by the Persian king Shapur I. This marked a catastrophic turning point in his reign and the Roman Empire's fortunes. Valerian's capture by the Persians was a dramatic and humiliating event. It is one of the few instances in Roman history where a reigning emperor was taken captive by a foreign enemy. Shapur paraded Valerian in a triumphal procession, and according to some sources he was treated with cruelty and forced to live in captivity for the rest of his life. Some historical accounts claim that Valerian was later executed or died in captivity, though the exact details remain unclear. His capture left the Roman East vulnerable to further Persian incursions and contributed to the decline of Roman power in the region. The impact of Valerian's capture was profound. His son, Gallienus, who had served as co-emperor since 253 AD, was left to rule the empire alone. Gallienus faced immediate challenges, including defending the empire from continued barbarian invasions and the growing instability of the Gallic and Palmyrene breakaway states. Despite his efforts, Gallienus was unable to fully restore Roman authority in the east, and the empire remained divided for much of the 3rd century. Valerian's reign is often viewed through the lens of failure, given the military defeats, the loss of Roman territory to the Persians, and the eventual collapse of his rule. However, it is important to understand that his reign occurred during a period of unprecedented crisis for the Roman Empire. The 3rd century was a time when the empire faced numerous challenges, including external invasions, internal rebellions, and a lack of coherent leadership. Valerian's capture by the Persians symbolized the fragility of Roman authority during this era. Despite the tumult of his reign, Valerian's legacy is not entirely negative. He was a figure who sought to restore Roman power and stability, particularly in the face of the growing threats to the empire's borders. His military campaigns against the Germans and Persians, although ultimately unsuccessful, showed his commitment to defending Roman territory. Additionally, his reign was marked by an attempt to stabilize the internal administration, even if this effort was largely overshadowed by external threats. Valerian's capture also underscored the increasingly precarious nature of Roman imperial power. By the time of his death, the empire had begun to fragment, with regions like Gaul and Palmyra carving out their own power bases. This fragmentation would continue until the reforms of emperors like Aurelian and Diocletian in the later part of the 3rd century, which sought to restore centralized control over the empire. Valerian's reign as Emperor of Rome was short and troubled, marred by military defeats and the ultimate humiliation of his capture by the Persians. However, his story is emblematic of the larger crisis facing the Roman Empire during the 3rd century AD. Although his reign ended in failure, Valerian's efforts to defend the empire and maintain its authority are a testament to the difficulties faced by emperors during this period. His legacy, while overshadowed by his capture and death in Persian captivity, is a reflection of the broader challenges that the Roman Empire would struggle with for much of the 3rd century. Ultimately, Valerian's reign marked a critical moment in the ongoing transformation of the Roman Empire, which would continue to evolve and adapt in response to external and internal pressures in the centuries that followed.